All right, so first we're gonna look at your feet where your stance is really, really wide. And wide is actually gonna be more restrictive for you when it comes to depth, especially if your ankles and your hips are tight, and you're probably gonna have a little knee cave in here, so it's not gonna feel good for your knees. So we want to narrow your stance, which play with this. I would say start with about your shoulder width apart. And then what I want you to do is play with where your toes are at. And let's turn them out slightly, like 15-ish degrees here. Then thinking about your big toe, your little toe, your heel on the ground, like a tripod. And then I want you to think about corkscrewing open. So keeping those 3 points on the ground, but then thinking about opening from your hips. That's automatically gonna give you a little bit more open here. Now, from there, I don't want you to worry so much about, I definitely don't want you to worry about your knees going past your toes. That's totally normal and more than okay for that to happen. And then with your torso, what I want you to think about is more like your ribs and your hips, or your ribs and your hips being connected, okay? So opening from the hips, and then think about your toes going, or your knees going over your big toe, and think about sitting. 1, 2, 3, and then up. You don't have to go all the way down, that's okay. Notice how my torso is kind of leaned over. Yours may not look exactly like mine. Your body is different, but it's okay if your torso is leaned. We want your ribs and your hips just to stay stacked here. So corkscrew into the ground, and then we want knees to come forward, hips to come back at the same time. And then just think about pulling yourself into a squat, sitting. Now there's a couple other things we can do. One thing we can do that helps with tight ankles and depth is just to take something small and put underneath your heels. So this can help with you getting deeper into your squat if your ankles are tight, okay? So thinking about a slight raise in your heel, this could be a book, it could be a plate, it could be like a piece of wood, anything that's going to be sturdy, solid, and go under your heels. Another thing that we can do is work on your ankle mobility, where we're kind of just pushing and adding this into your warm-up would probably be helpful. You can also work on opening the hips in this position as well, and even holding a weight to do that. Other things we can do to help kind of guide your squat is to use like a chair or a bench or a box where you're setting up your squat same way and thinking about squatting. You come down to the box or the bench and then stand up. Don't totally relax on it. I want you to think about, like, if I relaxed onto it, I'd fall if this was away. So still maintaining that squat form. And then if we want to take it up a notch and really work on depth, we can get something like a ball and work on squatting to that. This is going to be next level.